The signal. The quantum research station hanging in Earth's orbit was designed to be silent. Dr. Sarah Chen had always appreciated that silence, until today. The silence was shattered by an alert she'd never heard before, one that made her coffee mug slip from her fingers and shatter against the station's metal floor. The quantum detection array was lighting up like a Christmas tree, not with the usual background noise of particle interactions, but with a clear, structured pattern that could only mean one thing: they weren't alone. "Director Matthews," she called, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I think you need to see this." The pattern wasn't just a signal, it was a warning. As the translation matrices worked through the complex data stream, the truth began to emerge. Earth wasn't just being contacted, it was being evaluated. For centuries, humanity had been part of a vast experiment conducted by the Archean Empire, an ancient civilization that saw younger species as resources to be cultivated and harvested. The signal wasn't from the Archons, it was from their automated evaluation system, triggered when humanity's quantum research crossed a predetermined threshold. Now that we'd reached this level of advancement, the harvest was about to begin. Within hours, the world's major observatories detected what the quantum array had already revealed: a massive fleet of ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of our solar system. Their energy signatures were unlike anything humans had ever theorized possible. The UN Security Council convened an emergency session, while military forces worldwide went to high alert. But it was Dr. Chen's next discovery that changed everything. Hidden within the signal was a second message, buried so deeply that the Archon's own systems had missed it. "It's from another species," she explained to the hastily assembled panel of world leaders, her hands trembling slightly as she projected the decoded message. "They call themselves the Rendered. They were the last species the Archons harvested. They managed to embed this warning in the Archons' own evaluation protocol." The message was clear. The Archons didn't just harvest resources or technology. They harvested potential. They would extract the brightest minds of humanity, take our children with the strongest cognitive abilities, and leave the rest to start over. They'd done it countless times before, using the stolen genius of countless species to build their empire. But the Rendered had included something else in their message: weaknesses, flaws in Archean technology, blind spots in their strategy, things they'd learned too late to save themselves, but not too late to pass on. "They think we're primitive," General Diana Rodriguez said, studying the tactical data. "Their entire harvest protocol assumes we'll be fighting with conventional weapons, traditional spacecraft. They're not prepared for how humanity fights when its children are threatened." She was right. The Archons had seen humanity's rockets, our satellites, our primitive attempts at space travel. But they hadn't seen our quantum research. They didn't know about Project Oracle, the quantum AI that Dr. Chen had built to process her research data. They didn't know that at that very moment, Oracle was analyzing their entire fleet's energy signatures, finding patterns they'd never thought to hide. "We have 72 hours before they enter strike range," Rodriguez continued. "They'll expect us to either surrender or try to fight with conventional weapons. They won't expect us to understand their technology. And they certainly won't expect us to have turned their own evaluation signal against them." Dr. Chen nodded, already running calculations. "Oracle can do more than just analyze their ships. If we repurpose the quantum array, we might be able to do something they'll never see coming." The next 3 days saw humanity unite like never before. Political differences evaporated in the face of extinction. Every quantum physicist, every engineer, every programmer worked around the clock. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their children, for their future, for everything humanity could become. And as the Archean fleet approached, confident in their technological superiority, humanity prepared to teach them a lesson about underestimating Earth's children. The signal that had been meant to mark humanity for harvest was about to become the key to our survival. The silence of space was about to be broken again. But this time, It wouldn't be broken by an alien signal. It would be broken by humanity's response. Project Phoenix. The underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with an energy that had nothing to do with its massive power generators. Dr. Chen stood before a holographic display showing the quantum entanglement readings from their first successful test, while engineers and scientists from every nation worked in synchronized precision around her. Project Phoenix wasn't just a weapon. It was humanity's revolution in understanding the universe itself. In just 72 hours, they'd taken the quantum principles revealed in the Archon's signal and transformed them into something the Empire had never imagined possible. The entanglement field is stable, Dr. Chen announced, her voice carrying across the command center. Oracle confirms we can replicate the effect across the entire defense grid. General Rodriguez studied the tactical display, where dozens of seemingly primitive Earth satellites orbited with innocent predictability. But these weren't the simple communication and observation platforms the Archons saw in their scans. Each had been retrofitted with quantum cores, waiting to be awakened. How many ships in their first wave? Rodriguez asked, though she already knew the answer. She'd memorized every detail of the approaching fleet. 57 capital ships, over 200 support vessels, replied Commander James Wu, their tactical analyst. They're maintaining their harvest protocol formation. They still think this is a standard collection operation. That assumption was about to cost them dearly. The Archon's harvest protocol was efficient, tested across countless civilizations. They would disable planetary communications, eliminate military capabilities with precision strikes, and then begin their selective extraction of human resources. They expected token resistance at best, perhaps a few nuclear weapons, easily neutralized by their shields. They didn't expect Project Phoenix. Dr. Chen's team had discovered something extraordinary in the quantum principles the Archons used for their FTL drives. The same technology that let them fold space for faster-than-light travel had a critical vulnerability. It could be entangled, and what could be entangled could be disrupted. First wave entering lunar orbit, announced the sensor officer. Their weapons are charging. Energy signatures matched the rendered's warning data. Rodriguez straightened her uniform. Execute Phoenix protocol. Across Earth's orbit, the seemingly primitive satellites activated their quantum cores, each linked to the others, creating a web of entangled particles that surrounded the planet. Oracle, the quantum AI, conducted this symphony of subatomic particles with perfect precision. The Archon fleet's first shots never reached Earth's atmosphere. The energy weapons meant to disable Earth's military infrastructure instead encountered a quantum field that didn't just block their attacks. It absorbed them, feeding the very network meant to stop them. Multiple enemy ships reporting drive fluctuations, Wu reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. Their FTL cores are responding to the entanglement field. Oracle is executing the targeted disruption sequence. On the tactical display, the first Archon ship's drive core went dark, then another, and another. The mighty vessels, each capable of destroying entire cities, found their most basic systems failing as the quantum entanglement field turned their own technology against them. But Project Phoenix wasn't just about defense. As the Archon ships struggled with failing systems, the second phase began. Earth's surface-to-space defense platforms, hidden beneath what the Archons thought were primitive nuclear silos, revealed their true nature. Quantum Lance platforms online, Dr. Chen reported. Oracle has full targeting solutions. The weapons that launched from Earth's surface didn't look impressive. They weren't the massive missiles the Archons had expected. Instead, tiny quantum projectiles, each no bigger than a tennis ball, accelerated toward the disabled ships. Each projectile carried a payload of entangled particles, synchronized with the very particles that powered the Archon vessels. The effect was devastating. As each quantum lance struck its target, it created a cascading reaction in the enemy ship's power systems. Vessels that had conquered countless civilizations began to break apart, their mighty hulls split by forces they had never thought to defend against. First wave is neutralized, Wu announced, his professional demeanor finally cracking into a smile. Surviving ships are attempting emergency FTL jumps, but the entanglement field is preventing successful spacefold initiation. But even as humanity celebrated its first victory, Dr. Chen's expression remained serious. They'll adapt, she warned. The Archons didn't build their empire by being predictable. This was just their harvest protocol. When they realize we can fight back, they'll come with everything they have. Rodriguez finished. Good. Because Project Phoenix isn't just about defending Earth. Oracle has already mapped their quantum communications network. We know where they took the other species they harvested. We know where they keep their stolen children. Dr. Chen nodded, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. The rendered weren't the only ones who left us a message. We're detecting quantum signatures from dozens of harvested civilizations. They're still out there, still fighting in their own ways. They just needed someone to unite them. Then let's give them something to unite behind, Rodriguez declared. Upload the Phoenix protocols to all quantum-capable facilities. Broadcast the defensive specs on all channels, the rendered showed us. It's time to show the Archons what happens when you threaten humanity's future. Project Phoenix had begun as Earth's last defense. Now it would become the spark that ignited a galactic revolution. The Archons had spent millennia harvesting the potential of younger species. They were about to learn that potential, once unleashed, could burn brighter than they ever imagined. The real war was about to begin. The counterstrike. The captured Archean warship, Prometheus, hung in high orbit above Mars, its quantum core now pulsing with human-modified protocols. Commander Wu stood on what had once been its command bridge, watching Earth's first liberation fleet prepare for faster-than-light transit. Hard to believe we retrofitted their entire drive system in just 2 weeks, Dr. Chen remarked, her tablet displaying real-time quantum harmonics from the modified fleet. 20 ships, each a hybrid of salvaged Archean technology and human innovation, waited for the order to jump. The rendered's data was precise, Wu replied. They spent centuries studying Archean tech from the inside. They just never had the freedom to use that knowledge. He paused, checking the latest intelligence from Oracle. First target is confirmed. The harvesting facility in the Proxima Centauri system is lightly defended. They still don't believe we can reach them. That hubris would cost them dearly. The Archons had never lost a harvest world before. Their empire had expanded unchallenged for millennia, systematically collecting the brightest minds from developing civilizations. But they'd never faced an enemy who could turn their own quantum technology against them. Strike Fleet reports ready, announced Captain Sarah Martinez from her command station. The young officer had been chosen to lead humanity's first interstellar assault, her tactical brilliance matched only by her determination to free the countless children held in Archean facilities. Oracle has mapped their quantum defense grid, Dr. Chen confirmed. The moment we initiate the jump, their entire early warning system will go dark. They won't see us coming until we're already there. General Rodriguez's voice came through the command channel. You all know what's at stake. The Proxima facility holds over 10,000 children from 30 different species. The rendered believe at least 300 of them are human, taken in secret over the last century. Get them out. Show the galaxy that humanity doesn't abandon its own, or anyone else's. Strike Fleet, initiate quantum fold, Martinez ordered. The hybrid drives hummed to life, creating controlled tiers in spacetime using principles the Archons thought no primitive species could understand. 20 ships, crewed by Earth's finest, vanished into the quantum realm. They emerged in the Proxima Centauri system moments later, their arrival masked by the quantum disruption field that Dr. Chen had perfected. The Archean facility, a massive station bigger than any structure humanity had ever built, hung in orbit around the system's second planet. Multiple signatures detected in the holding areas, Wu reported, scanning the facility. Life signs matched the rendered's data. They're there. Martinez didn't hesitate. Launch quantum lances. Target their power grid and communication arrays. Second wave. Prepare for boarding operations. Remember your training. We're not just soldiers today. We're liberators. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies for generations to come. Human strike teams, armed with quantum-enhanced weapons and protected by reverse-engineered Archon shields, cut through the facility's defenses with surgical precision. The Archon guards, accustomed to controlling helpless children, found themselves facing trained warriors who could match and counter their every technological advantage. Dr. Chen, monitoring the operation from the Prometheus, detected something unexpected. "Commander, I'm picking up quantum signatures from inside the facility. The children, some of them are trying to help us. They've been sabotaging the Archon systems from within." "Of course they have," Wu smiled. "The Archons took them for their potential. They never considered that potential might be used against them." The liberation took less than 6 hours. When it was over, 10,000 children from across the galaxy took their first breaths of freedom. Among them were the human children, some taken so young they barely remembered Earth. But they remembered enough. "We need medical ships," Martines reported, her voice thick with emotion. "And translators. Lots of translators. These kids, they've created their own language, a mix of everything they know. They've been communicating, planning, waiting for a chance. The journey back to Earth would take time. The children needed care, counseling, and for many, the difficult process of finding their original homes. But as the fleet prepared for their return journey, carrying their precious cargo of recovered youth, they received an unexpected transmission. Multiple quantum signals detected, Wu announced. "They're coming from everywhere. Other harvesting facilities, hidden resistance cells, every species that's been harvested by the Archons. They're all reaching out. They saw what we did here. They want to join us." Dr. Chen studied the quantum network expanding across her display. The Archons built their empire by stealing the best and brightest from every world they found. But they never considered what would happen if those minds united against them. The liberation of Proxima was just the beginning. Humanity had proved it could be done. Now, across the galaxy, hope was spreading at quantum speeds. The Archons had spent millennia harvesting potential. They were about to learn what happens when that potential breaks free. The network. Deep within the repurposed Archon facility orbiting Jupiter, the Galactic Liberation Council held its first meeting. The chamber, once used for planning harvest operations, now hosted representatives from 27 species, each with their own story of survival under Archon rule. Dr. Chen stood before the assembled delegates, her quantum interface projecting a galaxy-wide network of resistance cells, hidden sanctuaries, and potential allies. The map pulsed with life, each point representing hope, defiance, and the growing strength of the united resistance. "The Archon's greatest mistake," she began, "wasn't taking our children. It was putting them together. While they thought they were creating the perfect workforce, they were actually building the strongest resistance network in galactic history." The rendered delegate, a tall crystalline being named Ixval, stepped forward. Their fractal surface rippled with patterns of agreement. "Our children learned from each other, shared knowledge, cultures, strengths. The Archons thought they were breeding compliance. Instead, they bred revolution." Commander Wu's tactical display showed the latest intelligence gathered by Oracle. "We've confirmed 36 major harvesting facilities across 3 spiral arms. But more importantly, we've discovered something the Archons never noticed: quantum entanglement patterns between them all." The revelation sent a wave of excitement through the chamber. The children in their forced labor camps had discovered ways to communicate through the very quantum technology that powered their prisons. They had created a secret network, sharing information, comfort, and eventually, plans for resistance. The Archons built their empire on stolen genius. Martinez added, now promoted to admiral after the Proxima liberation. But they never understood what they were stealing. They saw potential as a resource to be harvested. They never understood it was a force that could unite against them. The council chamber's displays lit up with new data as more resistance cells made contact. Species that had been harvested centuries ago, thought lost to time, emerged from hidden sanctuaries. The Archons' meticulous record-keeping became a weapon against them, helping identify and locate countless victims of their millennium-long campaign of theft. A delegate from the Synchron Collective, a species of networked consciousnesses, interfaced directly with Oracle. We detect a pattern. The Archons' harvest protocols. They're degrading. Each liberation weakens their control over their quantum networks. They're losing their grip on the very technology they stole. Dr. Chen nodded, her fingers dancing across her quantum interface. Every child we free, every facility we shut down, adds to our understanding. The Archons built their technology by combining stolen innovations from countless species. Now those innovations are being reclaimed by their rightful heirs. The council chamber erupted in discussion as tactical opportunities were identified and plans were formed. The rendered's knowledge of Archon shield frequencies combined with synchron encryption methods, human quantum disruption techniques merged with crystalline computing architectures from the HFY. But it was a small group of liberated children, led by a human girl named Maya Chen, no relation to the doctor, who provided the most crucial insight. The Archons don't just take children, Maya explained, her young voice carrying wisdom far beyond her years. They take dreams. They take hopes. They take futures. But they don't understand that dreams can't be contained. Hope can't be harvested. The future belongs to those who dare to shape it. Admiral Martinez studied the tactical displays showing Archon fleet movements. They're consolidating their forces, abandoning outer facilities to fortify their core worlds. They finally realize what they're facing, not just a rebellion, but a reckoning. Let them run, Commander Wu said. Every facility they abandon is another node in our network. Another chance to free more children, gather more allies, strengthen our cause. The council session concluded with the formation of the Liberation Fleet, a combined force of ships and crews from every freed species. Human quantum technology merged with rendered crystalline computing, synchron tactical networks, and dozens of other innovations the Archons had tried to steal and suppress. As the delegates departed to prepare their forces, Dr. Chen received an urgent signal from Oracle. The quantum eye had detected something unprecedented, a massive surge of entangled particles originating from deep within Archean space. They're afraid, she realized, studying the patterns. For the first time in their history, the Archons face an enemy they cannot simply harvest and control. They face the combined potential of every species they tried to subjugate. The network, born in the quantum whispers between imprisoned children, had grown into a force that would reshape the galaxy. The Archons had spent millennia taking the brightest stars from countless worlds. Now those stars were about to burn their empire to ashes. Rising dawn. The combined Liberation Fleet emerged from quantum space above the Archon homeworld, Terminus Prime. 5,000 ships strong. Each vessel represented the reclaimed legacy of a harvested species. At their heart, the Earth ship Prometheus led the charge, carrying the hopes of countless civilizations. Dr. Chen stood at her quantum control station, watching as Oracle processed the massive streams of data flowing through their network. The AI had evolved beyond its original purpose, now serving as the collective consciousness of their alliance. Through it, every liberated child, every freed species, every act of resistance strengthened their cause. Archon Defense Grid is activating. Admiral Martinez reported from the command deck. They've marshaled everything they have left. 3,000 capital ships, planetary defense systems, and she paused, studying the readings. Something new, something big. Rising from the surface of Terminus Prime was a structure that dwarfed everything around it. A quantum sphere, built from the combined technological achievements of every species the Archons had harvested over millennia. That's their legacy engine, the rendered Commander HFY announced, their crystalline form pulsing with recognition. The sum total of every innovation they've stolen, every mind they've enslaved. They mean to use it to harvest our entire fleet at once. But Dr. Chen was smiling. Maya, the young girl who had helped unite the imprisoned children, stepped forward beside her. They still don't understand, Maya said, her voice carrying across the command channel to every ship in the fleet. You can't harvest what's already free. The Archean legacy engine powered up, its quantum field reaching out to ensnare the Liberation fleet. But instead of finding vulnerable ships to harvest, it encountered something unprecedented. A network of free minds, united in purpose, each contributing their unique strength to the whole. Execute Liberation Protocol, Dr. Chen ordered. Throughout the fleet, quantum cores synchronized. The children they had freed, the species they had united, the potential that had been waiting generations to break free. All of it focused into a single moment of defiance. The legacy engine's harvest field met the Liberation fleet's quantum network. For a moment, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, something remarkable happened. The engine, Commander Wu reported, his voice filled with wonder. It's not harvesting us. We're reclaiming it. Through Oracle's quantum network, every species in the fleet reached out to reclaim what had been stolen from them. Centuries of harvested knowledge, imprisoned potential, and stolen futures flowed back to their rightful owners. The Archean legacy engine, built to contain and control, became a conduit for liberation. The Archean fleet moved to intervene, but they found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered in their long history of conquest. Each Liberation fleet vessel fought with the combined tactical knowledge of dozens of species. Human quantum disruption fields merged with rendered crystal technology, synchron battle networks, and countless other innovations. Their command structure is collapsing, Martins announced. Without their harvested technology, without their stolen advantages, they're falling apart. The battle for Terminus Prime lasted less than a day. When it was over, the Archean Empire, built on millennia of theft and subjugation, crumbled. Their leaders, faced with the united power of those they had tried to harvest, surrendered to the Liberation Council. But victory brought new challenges. The legacy engine had contained more than just stolen technology. It held the locations of every child ever taken, every species ever harvested, every world ever targeted by the Archons. The work of healing, of returning, of rebuilding would take generations. We'll help them all find their way home, Maya declared, standing among the other liberated children who had become the heart of their revolution. And we'll make sure no one ever tries to harvest potential again. Dr. Chen watched as Oracle compiled the final casualty reports and began coordinating the massive effort of reunification and restoration. The Archons never understood what they were really harvesting, she said. They thought potential was something you could take and contain. They never realized it was something that grows stronger when shared. Throughout the galaxy, quantum channels lit up with messages of celebration and reunion. Species long thought lost emerged from hiding. Children separated from their families began their journeys home. And in orbit around Terminus Prime, the Liberation fleet stood watch, a testament to what could be achieved when the brightest stars of every civilization chose to shine together. The age of harvest was over. The dawn of liberation had begun.